Due to recent events and the constant nagging from my neighbors who think I'm going to be able to provide them with some form of protection during the current recreation of the last part of Apocalypse Now, I think it's important to give some tips to those who have always wished for the complete collapse of society without actually doing anything to prepare for it.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
So without further ado, here's Tundra Tactical's guide to last-minute pandemic prepping. So stay tuned, thanks for watching, and let's start the show. It's clear that we are finally reaching the end of days. This is the day that many of us have been hoping and praying for. The eventual collapse of modern civilization, as you and I know it, is nigh, and many of us are woefully underprepared.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
If you've not been an active member of the prepping community since Nut and Fancy told you to start filling barrels with rainwater and spending his entire pension on Keltex while reviewing a scooter, you have some catching up to do. If you are a prepper, we suggest that you hang out for just a few more minutes because we might have a fresh new take on some of the concepts you've been forcing your poor wife and children to endure while your neighbors talk about how crazy you are amongst themselves. At this point, it is clear that commercial toilet paper is no longer a luxury that we as Americans will be able to enjoy. Somehow, you're still gonna have to keep that poop chute clean because you already smell bad enough using that homemade deodorant, and you can't expect your wife to continue standing within 100 yards of you if you don't keep that situation lemon fresh. Disclaimer: do not, under any circumstances, apply any lemon products of any kind to your nether regions, especially Lemon Pledge. We learned that one the hard way, so you don't have to.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Alternatives to toilet paper are commercially available, but I'm not about to put a bidet in my house and risk being mistaken for a European. Yuck. We as a community need to be more creative about things. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed how an escalator has a handrail that moves along with the stairs? Well, if you're confident enough to drop trowel in the middle of a crowded JCPenney's, you can actually just back that thing up and let the mechanical advantage give you one continuous stroke to cleanliness. It's important to remember two things about this method. Number one, if you choose the down escalator, you are apt to be sweeping the dirt back into the kitchen, if you catch my drift. Number two, you're only going to get a couple of well-timed uses out of this method before somebody is going to have to clean that handrail, or you find yourself in jail.
Man, there's not a year goes by, not a year, that I don't read about some escalator accident involving
Eric from Tundra Tactical. A much more discreet method would be to repurpose some of the other paper you might have lying around. Those late payment notices for your mortgage and car should work just fine. I mean, it's not like you were going to pay those things anyways, and the banks are going to go under when the coronavirus mutates and becomes a digital virus anyways. The problem here is that they only send a couple of those a month at most, so you're going to need to keep hunting. Wait a second. Remember when your daughter dropped out of community college to pursue her career as a girlfriend to a rich white guy who's actually 2 years older than you? Talk about a twofer here. Not only is she no longer in the house clogging up your drains with her hair, but now you can use all those sweet, sweet pages from her textbooks for something useful. The Sociology of Miley Cyrus textbook is finally useful. Yes, this is a real college course offered at Skidmore College, and no, we're not making this up. Hand sanitizer and disinfectant wipes are currently also at a premium. This is clearly not a problem for most of us because we've learned that washing our hands is for doctors and people that have way too much time on their hands. We like to attack the general cleanliness with a more inside-out technique. Your skin flakes off every couple of days or so if you make sure that the new skin underneath is sterilized, you should remain in a perpetual state of cleanliness. Disinfect the inside of your body with things like Jameson, Woodford Reserve, Jägermeister, or moonshine. Whatever locally available spirit you have should do the job. If your liquor store shelves are also barren, no worries. Just throw some yeast into a jug of apple cider and hope it doesn't explode. If it does explode, your house should smell lovely for a couple of weeks, so I'm really not seeing the downside here. Do you have some pint-sized carpet dwellers in your house? Unless you're willing to spend most of your day perfecting your deltoids by holding them over the toilet, you're probably wondering how you're going to make sure they don't give your carpet the same treatment as your hyperactive Cocker Spaniel. Man, this bit is heavily focused on body excretion, so I guess I'll make this quick. Wrap that Rugrats nether regions in chunks of your wife's wedding dress. She wore it one day and then made you keep it in storage for years, even though she doesn't fit into it anymore, and will probably never wear it again anyways. She probably won't notice. And if she does, you get to sleep on the couch with the dog, and that's fun because then you get to stay up late playing Fallout 4, which is basically training for what civilization's gonna be like in a week or two. Now for something non-poop related. Your night spent drinking to excess in CD bars is finally going to pay off.
Hell yeah!
If you've been to a grocery store lately, you'll know that almost all products known to normal citizens as food are hard to come by. However, pig's feet, Rocky Mountain oysters, and other pickled delicacies that are only edible by the most intoxicated of degenerates will be readily available, as they're considered by most to be disgusting and apparently have no actual nutritional value. Don't let your suburban neighbors with real textbook learned knowledge of what is and isn't good for you stop you from keeping that gullet full of questionable sources of sustenance. Just suck down a healthy pull of that fermented apple cider and chow down, laughing all the way to a full belly and heart disease. Do you need ammo? Well, good luck with that one, bud, because your fellow patriots with more expendable income than you have already bought all the good stuff. The weird thing is, people are completely neglecting the potential of birdshot. Shotgun shells with a 7 or 8 weight are still readily available because they're apparently ineffective at killing anything other than 4 1/4 inch discs of clay. However, if you take out your trusty old pocket knife and extricate those lead pellets, you can replace them with something more suited to annihilating those who would come hunting for your last sheets of toilet paper. Consider replacing that lead shot with old fishing lures, or better yet, your wife's fake jewelry you bought her at Walmart for her birthday. This will increase the value of those rash-inducing earrings while simultaneously earning you another couple of nights on the couch with your dog and your PlayStation. Have you ever heard of cut shells? Yeah, we have too, but honestly, we're not going to recommend them for reasons I can't think of right now. Did you know that if you add whiskey to your coffee, it's way easier to write a script for Tyler? Never mind. Now we move on to guns. You haven't already stockpiled enough guns to arm a local militia?
Опачки.
Well, sucks to be you. Your best bet at this point is to befriend somebody who has, and offer him your unread Reader's Digest in exchange for a High Point or a Mosin Nagant. Yeah, I know, you're gonna miss out on some really good articles about how the current economic conditions are set for another burst in the real estate bubble, and jokes about ducks, but this is the time for sacrifices. It's honestly not like you were gonna read the September 2008 edition anyways. I mean, come on. Some doofus at church wearing a dress and a colorful scarf while handing out crackers and wine once told me that idle hands are the devil's playground. And while I consider this to be a profound statement, I'm not totally sure what he was talking about because I was hungover and wondering if I had the ability to remotely stop that baby 2 pews over from crying. You're gonna need some form of entertainment in the event that the power grid shuts down and your Nintendo is rendered essentially useless. Once again, I'm not sure what that holy man was talking about, but I'm pretty sure I can keep my hands busy if I get a hold of enough Sports Illustrated swimsuit editions. Time to dust off those bad boys and ignore the pages that are stuck together. If you're one of the minority of viewers who lack the Y chromosome, maybe take up whittling? If I get any more specific, I feel like this video is going to get demonetized quicker than you can say boogaloo. At this point, I do think it's clear that my writer is an alcoholic, so I should probably wrap things up. You can't drink all day if you don't start first thing in the morning, right folks? If you dislike this video, you probably have a good employer with a generous healthcare plan. But if you like the video, make sure to smash that thumbs up button and share it around with your friends. Consider subscribing to the channel and checking out our Patreon page to stay up to date on current and future content. And if you feel like repping some of the Tundra swag, head on over to the link in the description below to our brand new store on Teespring. Thanks for watching, Tundra Nation, and you can now find us on Instagram at Tundra Tactical MN.